So I see there's quite a bit of discourse happening on these internet streets about religion and Christianity and God. I personally feel like it's a simple concept once you move beyond Christ as something or someone outside of you. When really Christ can be viewed as consciousness or an awareness of the Holy Spirit moving throughout the body, right? And yes, we're using cursive. We're going to figure out a way to get this flipped around so that you can see it, but we use cursive writing over here. And it says Christ as consciousness, aka the Holy Spirit's movement or the awareness of the movement throughout the physical body, right? Now, what determines if the spirit or the energy or the point of activation is moving throughout the body? What determines if it is holy or not? For one, your discernment. For two, it is the intent. It's all about the intention, right? Whether the origin of the intent was from the ego, something that serves the physical vessel, versus serving the Most High. The Most High is basically the most expansive, loving possible outcome. And when I say in terms of like love, it's not restriction, it's not fear mongering. It's more so like, it's open, it's receptive. And that doesn't mean be open and receptive to any of everything. Again, that's where discernment comes in. But it really comes down to the origin of the intent. Was the original intent to manipulate, to cause harm, to be nice, nasty, you know what I'm saying? Like it's about the origin of the intent. Was it to inspire? And again, when it comes to intent versus outcome, if the Holy Spirit is giving you a message to give to someone, you always ask first, right? Now the outcome is like, okay, well, they still went out and did whatever. Hey, that ain't got nothing to do with the origin of intent. Now, if you give them a word without giving them the opportunity to choose whether they want to be receptive to the word, you just threw it on them, thus violating consent, then that in turn takes us back to, okay, then what was the actual true intent behind that? Were you an ego? Were you just trying to make it known that, hey, I'm a vessel for a spirit, okay? Versus the Holy Spirit, because the Holy Spirit is never one to violate one's consent or forcing prophetic dreams or imagery or outcomes on another individual. So, but yeah, that's the long and short of it. It doesn't really have to be spooky or scary, but that's just one level of religious indoctrination, is putting the fear of God or the fear of Christ into a person, when really Christ is an inside job. When Christ rises every day, all day, it's that little nudge or intuitive nudge of like, don't go this way, because you don't even know why until after the fact, and you're like, oh my God, there was an accident that direction, and I was going to be late for an important meeting, and so on and so forth. But the Holy Spirit is something that you most definitely cultivate a relationship with, because the Holy Spirit, how the Holy Spirit moves through me may not look the same for you, and so on and so forth, or feel the same for me or for you. So it's just, the walk with Christ is an individual path, nobody else, and it is internal. That is the long and short when it comes to any religious debate and how I perceive Christ at this time, right? It's an individual journey, and you cross paths with others on that journey and share when called to share. And so this is what I'm doing today. This is the first, maybe of many, who knows, but as of today, I was called to share what or who and how Christ can be found or cultivated throughout the body. Next, we'll go into different ways to sit with Christ energy, especially when you first start to question the only way that you've been taught to know Christ or come to knowing Christ. But yeah, learning and accepting Christ as consciousness, or that Christ is consciousness, and remove some of the fear and control out of it. So, but it takes time. And I'm telling you, based on lived experience, it takes time. So don't beat yourself up if you are starting to question things that you've been taught for your whole bloodline, your whole family. Like, this is just the times that we're in right now. And you can actually take, when you see Christ as consciousness, you can still go to church. That's the really cool thing about it. You can still go to church, because once you're listening to the word, you're taking it in, and you're like, oh my God, I understand. Like, oh, it's not so much of like, oh, it's something that you're constantly externally seeking and seeking and seeking. Like, no, it's something that you are seeking, has you going this way, da 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 da. But Christ as consciousness brings you literally to your center, to a more centered space, a more calm space. So when everything is swirling and twirling all around you, you come back to center. Yeah, it's all about right here. The intentions of the heart. Okay? The mind can cause confusion, but really it's all about the heart. And that's where Christ lives, in my opinion, in my personal experience. So anyway, I'm Taisha Arise. I hope this helps someone. And if you want to potentially have a conversation, go more in depth about my journey and return to Christ, or Christ return into my life. Yeah, how I cultivate the relationship. You know, different ways that have worked for me. They may not work for you, but you don't know till you know. So, but again, always trust your discernment, and also work on cultivating that relationship with discernment, because that can change over time as well as you walk your journey with Christ. So yeah, that's it. My name is Taisha Arise, and yeah, welcome back. Peace.